everybody, how are you doing today? I am very well, thank you. Today I am going to be making a traveler's notebook insert as I have run out, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make that. So first of all, you will need, if you're going to make this, you need some strong string. I've got this wax covered string which I had for another project. You're going to need a clip so you can hold your paper together. You're going to need a needle, very sharp needle, and a measuring tape as well, and then obviously whatever paper you want to use, and a pencil as well, a sharp pencil. So that's everything you're going to need, and as you can see I have some scrap paper here. So these pieces of paper, they're all watercolor paper, and they're all offcuts from when I made my big journals, like my big golden book journals. There always seemed to be this one square left over and I tried to fit as much as I could into each piece of paper, but when I bought the paper from the store, it was like huge pieces of paper, so I had to cut them down. And then I have left the square offcuts, and as you can see, it looks like it might not work. Like, it looks like it might be a little bit thin, a little bit too what do you call it, like not quite wide enough, but actually I think they would work perfect for it. So I have 12 sheets of that, and after looking at the other traveler's notebook, the watercolor inserts that I've got, they contain 6 sheets of watercolor paper, so that means I would actually have enough for 2 traveler's notebook inserts in this watercolor paper. So I thought, that's great, I'm going to use them for that. So I wanted to show you by comparison, because this obviously is an offcut piece of paper and it is just a little bit smaller than the traveler's notebook, so you can cut it to size. And if you wanted to do that, the traveler's notebook inserts are usually around 22 centimeters wide and 21 centimeters long. However, this piece of paper that I have is, or you can see I'm measuring it there, just over 22, no, that's 22 centimeters is the width, and the length is 21, so it is a little bit wider than it is long. However, my piece of paper is 20 by 20 roughly, because I actually did, when I made my watercolor journals, I actually used the paper, I just tore it, so it's not exact, and that's totally fine with me. I really like the way it looks with the torn edges. So I'm going to be using 6 pieces of paper and folding in half. That would give me 12 pages. So how I do this is I just literally try and match up the edge and then fold it. And as you can see, it's not that much smaller, which is great. And then I get a ruler or some kind of hard edge, and I push firmly down the edge of the paper, where the fold is, to make it a nice crisp fold, because this paper is very thick, so you do have to fold it down like quite firmly to get that nice crisp edge. So as you can see, I'm going to continue doing that with all the other pieces of paper and trying to match them up as best as possible. Like I said, they won't be perfect, but I'm quite happy with that. And then I'll just go through and put them one inside the other. And I just continue doing that until I have all 6 pages. And then I'm just going to play around with it and see which pages I like in which order. Obviously, if you had all the pages exactly the same size, this wouldn't matter so much. But I'm going to move them around a little bit. If I like one frayed edge better than the other, I might put that on the front. If there's one a bit damaged, I might put that in like somewhere at the back. So there you go, that's how I'm kind of organizing it. And then when I'm really happy with how that looks, I'm putting a clip in place to hold all the pages together so that they don't move from the position that I like. And then I'm going to put the binding in the middle. So as you can see, I'm measuring the traveler's notebook, the original one, and I'm seeing how far the first hole will be from the edge of the paper. So going from the bottom up, it will be 3.5 centimeters. So I'm making a little mark there where the first hole will be. And then I think it's joined with a paper clip, which is 1 centimeter wide. So I'm going to be sewing the pages together, but if you have one of those like industrial staplers, you could just do that and it would be much quicker than this. However, this is fairly quick to do as well. So at the top of the page, I did exactly the same thing. I went 3.5 centimeters down from the top, 1 centimeter gap for the between the two dots, and then that's it. So now this bit is a little bit tricky, and I usually use there is actually a tool that you use for this, which people use for bookbinding. However, I seem to have misplaced it, so I'm using a sharp, not too sharp, but quite a strong needle to push through the holes, and I'm using the weight of my hand pushing down. I'm using the table to steady it, and then I have obviously my fingers either side to just direct the needle exactly where I want it to be. So I'm making those 4 hole punctures in the book, and you can kind of feel where the needle is going as well, and if it helps you to push it through, I also have these little like finger, what are they called, like thimbles, but they are made of like a rubber, so it's really good for gripping, and I used to use that all the time when I was like sewing, because it helps you pull the needle through. It gives you like a really good grip, so I recommend those if you can get hold of those. They're like little, they go on your end of your finger and your thumb, but they're really good. So as you can see, I have done that one. And now I am going to do the other one exactly the same. So let's speed through this process so you can have a little look. But as you know, it's going to be exactly the same. And the reason I'm doing I'm just doing 3 pages at a time. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, because this particular paper is very thick, with it being watercolor paper, and to push a needle through 6 sheets of watercolor paper would be a bit of a nightmare. So I can just about manage 3 sheets. So that's what I'm doing here now. And then after that, I want to put all the sheets together. So I'm using the first needle there to put through all the 6 sheets. And then I've put the little clip at the top to hold them in place again. And now I'm using my thread to obviously thread them together. So I've got quite a small piece of thread, and I'm just putting it through double, and then I'm tying a knot in the end and just cutting off the excess there. And also I did this on the inside, but in retrospect it would have probably been better on the outside, if you don't mind the knot being on the outside, just because it gets quite bulky in the middle if the knot is in the middle. And with a small book like this, it probably does make a bit of difference, so just keep that in mind. You might want to do this but in reverse, like put it on the outside. So I pull the string through, I'm going to try my best to explain this. I pull the string through one of the holes, and then I go around the back and pull it through the bottom hole, leaving a little bit of the string showing in the first hole. So I'll show you in a minute. It's a little bit tricky to pull through. So yeah, as you can see, I'm putting the needle now through the end of the original thread where the knot is, and then I pull it tight, and that just secures it in place. So it's just one through, but it's double thread. I hope I'm explaining this well. I'm really not great explaining instructions. And then I cut the thread, and as you can see, you have 2 ends, and I tie the 2 ends twice together. I double knot them, and that's just me being extra precautious, but I'm sure it would be fine. Even if it came undone, you could just redo it, but I'm sure it won't with this double knotting that I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to do exactly the same with the bottom, and I'm just going to speed through this part because, like I said, it's pretty much the same. Like, it is the same, it's just at the bottom, and it's really quick and easy to do as well, especially if you already have these offcuts of paper. You could make really tiny journals or bigger ones or whatever you have left. But I also like to put the clips on as well, just to keep the pages down. It takes a little while for them to stay in this formation, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like on the inside. And as you can see, the pages don't always match up perfectly, but honestly I prefer that. I don't really strive for perfection. I like this kind of messy, fun handmade look to a lot of my things, so I also like that with this little journal and the torn pages as well. And it's really nice, and I think it's a really good amount of pages as well for my June journal, because I've just finished my May journal. So now we're moving on to June. I'm just going to show you what it looks like inside the Traveler's Notebook. So this is the original size Traveler's Notebook. And it fits in perfectly, as you can see. It doesn't stick out, obviously, because it's a little bit smaller than the other ones, but it also just doesn't look out of place. It looks really cute in there, and I actually think I prefer the slightly smaller size as well. It seems a little bit more manageable somehow, but yeah, I'm going to keep the clips on for a while so it can hold in place and get used to that bend in the spine. And then I'm going to speed up here onto the actual decoration of the journal. So like I said, I'm now on to June. So for my June journal, I really wanted to put on the cover one of my new characters. So recently I've been coming up with all my summer designs, which hopefully I will have out pretty soon for you. I'm just working on all the little intricate things that come with designing new things, but I'm very excited for this range, and I feel like it's probably the most me set that I've done. I feel very connected to this character in particular. You might not be able to tell because of how I am now as an adult and the careers that I've gone into, like performing and being a model and stuff like that, but you might not be able to tell that I was actually an incredibly shy child. I was actually painfully shy as a child, especially in primary school, and I would go bright red whenever I was asked a question, or if I was asked to stand up in the class. I would get very, very embarrassed and shy. I was a complete introvert, and as I've got older, it's definitely got less and less, and like, I don't want to talk about my whole life story here, but I've definitely grown in confidence as I've gotten older. I think YouTube's definitely helped with that, and just growing a little community that always supports you and who's always so positive is just really, really lovely to have, and it definitely gives you confidence. But my inner self, my inner child, is like this character here, and as soon as I drew her, I just felt an instant connection, which makes sense because it came from my brain. But I was very awkward as a child, and something like this, like going into the sea on a hot day, I used to hate the heat as well. I'm very fair skinned, so I burn incredibly easy, and I just didn't like being in the sea and being outside like this. So yes, I was quite an introverted child, and this is my little character that came from that, and I'm so excited to share her with you. I have a whole plethora of stories which are in my head, which I think I could make with this character, so I'm very excited that she came into my life and into my head. So I really hope you enjoy her too. I love her. I think she's precious, and I want to cherish her. So yes, this is my design for June, and as you can see, I also have the sun up there, looking a little bit concerned for the character below, like, is she going to be okay? Is she going to be all right in the sea? I'm going to keep an eye on her, and I also like that the rest of the characters can keep an eye on each other and look out for each other and support each other as well. I think it's just a really fun and happy line of characters, and I'm so looking forward to sharing them with you soon, sharing the rest of these characters with you soon. I don't quite have a name for her yet, so I'm hoping it will just come to me. I'm thinking maybe Dottie, because she likes spots, but we'll see. Also, I didn't film me painting it. I thought I was filming, but I wasn't. So as you can see, this is the completed, finished journal cover with all the colours, using my new put together palette, which I did in a couple of videos ago. And I really love it. I love the way it turned out. I think it's probably my favourite journal cover, but I think I say that every month, so that's good. At least I feel like I'm improving, or I feel like I like my journal covers every month. So yeah, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't mind me sharing a little bit more about my characters and where the inspiration comes from. for some of these characters, and I really hope that you can relate to some of them too. But that is it for this video. I will see you next Sunday with a brand new video. Have a lovely week, everyone. Take care and enjoy the sunshine. Bye.